A local doctor is going to deliver an important message to the United Nations on Thursday this week. Dr. Tlaleng Mofokeng, a women and health rights activist, was in July appointed as the UN's fourth Special Rapporteur on the right to health. The UN makes these Special Rapporteur appointments to focus on specific areas of human rights. These independent experts have a mandate to monitor rights and also flag violations. Dr. Mofokeng holds a Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery degree from the University of KZN. She's worked in private practice. She's also written a best-selling book, Dr. T, A Guide to Sexual Health and Pleasure. She's also serving on our Commission on Gender Equality. Dr. Mofokeng joins me now. Thank you so much for your time. I'm wondering what ignited your passion for health rights?
Thank you so much, Sally, for this invitation. You know, this activism for me started as a fight for survival for myself. I was a young medical student, a young black woman in a different province, and I was just navigating life and trying to find affirmation and have my rights protected and promoted. And I think it's being in the intersection of being a medical student, a young person myself, but also a black woman in South Africa, that location and the place that roots me being, you know, a former Bantustan of Kwatwa, all of those experiences shaped who I am. And literally my activism is for my own benefit. I'm literally the first beneficiary of the work that I do, because my story, my lived experience is so many of other people that look like me and who perhaps, unlike me, were not as lucky to have an education and a support system from family.
Now, in July, you were appointed, I think it's one of four, or the fourth Special Rapporteur on the right to health by the United Nations. So how does that work? What is your job, and how do you monitor and red flag any violations? Is it South Africa alone, or is it a global position?
It's a global position. The mandate is to look at the issues that concern the right to health. The mandate is broad, of course, because health encompasses so many issues around legal reforms, legislative frameworks, policies, issues around service delivery, procurement, biomedical research and development. And my mandate particularly, asks me to look at the situation of vulnerable and marginalized groups. And it further implores on me to apply a gender perspective and pay special attention to the needs of children in the realization of the right to health. And of course, knowing that COVID-19 has limited travel around the world, I have inducted and started with the functions from South Africa, but I remain, in touch, and the work continues, from the Office of the Human Rights in Geneva.
The right to health is such a crucially important topic and issue, especially in a time of a global pandemic. I know that on Thursday you're going to be delivering an address to the UN. Could you give us an idea of what your main message is going to be?
Absolutely. So I took functions and office in July 2020, which means the current report I will be delivering at the General Assembly is one that was prepared by my predecessor, Daniel Pures. But I will be giving a highlight of my vision. I will outline my sort of commitment, and it's a real one, because I really do believe that coloniality and racism has some direct negative health outcomes. And my strategy, my vision for the role is to use intersectional frameworks, and of course looking at the current context globally, right, of anti-gender politics, anti-critical race theory politics, and reminding the world that in fact for many of us our starting point in life is unequal, whether it's inequality in education, health, resourcing, violence, right? Many of us in South Africa are experiencing extreme violence and live under the threat of violence. And so my role is to remind all of us how we have to literally, the UN slogan, leave no one behind. And the only way to do that is to recenter the marches, be unapologetic about being intersectional, and also look at how laws and policies are in themselves enablers of rights protections and promotions, and really demand accountability from member states and the United Nations itself, because we can't have accountability without transparency and trust. And I think that's the two things that COVID has shown us in terms of governance globally and political leadership.
Well, you are really doing us proud, and congratulations, and thank you very much for your time. That was Dr. Tlaleng Mofokeng, UN Special Rapporteur on the right to health.